of any other view. And I have a very strongly held view and belief on this, because it is only through bilateral engagement that India and Pakistan are able to talk, discuss, and move towards solution and management of issues. What I've suggested is, in the interim, and I like what Ambassador Coker called a cooling off period. In the interim, it's important, I think both sides should look at what they can do themselves and what they cannot do to the other side in the interim period before we resume such a dialogue. And the issue then of Kashmir and discussion on Kashmir and the Kashmir dispute will only come in a bilateral framework once the official dialogue begins. So I think my response to this is that it's important to resume the official bilateral dialogue and then start moving in a more result-oriented way towards the issues of Kashmir and, of course, counterterrorism.
Thank you. Last word.
I'm no longer a British government servant, but I think it's quite clear that the large Indian and Pakistani diasporas in the UK are an important factor. And they, and much of the UK, does recognise that those countries achieved independence and are fiercely proud of what they've achieved since independence. And we see this in the CISS-IISS. Our London office runs a large programme which Rahul and Antoine run of events about South Asia, and they're very, very well attended, which represents the breadth and depth of achievement in both diasporas. My sense is that the British government and British government officials understand this. And I suspect they would very much like to help, but they're not going to force their help down anyone's throats. They would help if they were asked to, by both parties, I'm sure. But India and Pakistan are independent states in their own right, and British leverage over them is perhaps not as great as it was before 1947.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I wish I were one of the speakers rather than chair this session. But in any event, we have had a very interesting discussion. Before I make some remarks, one reference to the newly elected President of the United States. I think you must have read somewhere that the official spokesman of Pakistan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs welcomed any mediatory efforts by President-elect Trump also. So Pakistan is ready for mediation, although as Riaz Coker says, some people have their doubts whether mediation will work or not, because one hand clapping will not resolve the issue. If India is not interested in mediation, there will be no mediation. Let me also say that perhaps we should think of the India-Pakistan conflict in the context of what is happening in the world today and the international profiles that are developing about India and Pakistan in the world. Is it possible that India has come to the conclusion that the time is right to take some action against Pakistan because Pakistan stands somewhat alone in the world? But interestingly, the developments in the region do not point in that direction. While the United States, of course, has the Pacific pivot, and India as the anchor for that Pacific pivot, China has proposed the OBOR, and CPEC is an important part of that OBOR, One Belt, One Road concept. So new alignments are emerging. And should India and Pakistan allow themselves to be embroiled in certain alignments and also bring their bilateral disputes in the context of those alignments? I think these are questions which we need to address. I will only talk briefly about two issues. One is the postponement of SARC. I think it was a mistake by India not to allow the holding of the SARC summit in Pakistan. But it also shows a mindset that India is determined to coerce Pakistan and to force Pakistan into certain positions which India would like it to take. I don't know whether coercion works or not, and I don't know whether dialogue works or not, because for the past 70 years we have been alternately at it, at dialogue and coercion, dialogue and coercion. So what works between India and Pakistan? That is a fundamental question. Rahul has made 8 suggestions. And since he is going to India to hold a seminar and propose the same suggestions to them, I think I will confine myself to talking to those suggestions instead of talking about the Heart of Asia conference, where to my mind, India misbehaved. So did Afghanistan. Pakistan's foreign minister was there, an advisor on foreign affairs with the rank of minister, and he was humiliated. So this is not expected of a country which is trying to seek a seat at the high tables in the world. There are certain fundamental courtesies that are extended to visited delegations which were denied to a representative of Pakistan in India, both by India and Afghanistan. And Afghanistan was in a third country. There's a fundamental rule of international diplomacy that in third countries do not criticize your neighbors. I think Sardar Aziz behaved with great dignity, and I think that is what he should have done. But let's come to the 8 proposals. First is unilateral but coordinated measures for CBMs. I think Pakistan has always supported CBMs between the 2 countries, and I certainly hope, Rahul, that in your interaction with the Indians in the seminar that you are going to hold there, you will be able to persuade them that they should also be ready to revert to the CBMs that have already been agreed upon and also agree on new CBMs if possible. There can be no argument about lowering official rhetoric. But is India lowering official rhetoric or is it raising it? I saw a statement by Mr. Rajnath, the Home Minister of India, day before yesterday, in which he is threatening to splinter Pakistan into 10 separate parts. Is that lowering of rhetoric? Or is it